Welcome to WFCO's Community Accent, your daily connection to the news and events happening in and around Fairfield County. And now, Community Accent.
Good morning and welcome to the Thursday edition of Community Accent on Fairfield County's refreshing 90.9 FM. We are connecting you with your community every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. You can listen on your dial at 90.9 FM. You can listen with the TuneIn radio app or go to our website and listen online at refreshing909.com. Today, Kathy Laveck is with us. How are you, Kathy?
Very good. And you, Tina?
I am wonderful. This is Tina Gang, your morning host. And today we are connecting you with your community through Kelly Vaughn, who is a local singer-songwriter. And you probably have heard her name because she has been singing at Art and Clay very often and other various places. We'll hear more about that. How are you, Kelly?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. We're so excited to have you here. I got to hear you at the Celebration of Possibilities dinner, and I flagged you down. I'm like, oh, I've been wanting to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, part of Art and Clay, obviously, was your connection to the Celebration of Possibilities. Correct. And the Fairfield DD. How did that all start for you? I don't know. There's so many things I want to ask you. Let's start with who you are and where you're from. Let's start there.
Well, my name is Kelly Vaughn. I grew up in the Columbus area. I currently reside in Hilliard, and I'm a singer-songwriter. And Lancaster's turning into be a regular stop for me, and definitely one of my favorite places to come and play.
Absolutely. So
that.
You're not from here. You live.
No.
You live in
Hilliard.
Hilliard,
Okay.
Yeah, west of Columbus.
Gotcha. Okay, so how did you find your way down this way then?
Through a friend that had a connection to Square 7 in the DD community here, and she had seen me play my first show, which is at a little pizza pub in Old Hilliard named Benito's. And when she saw me play, she said, I have a place, you've got to come down and check it out. I'm going to get you in. And she did get me in. I played my first show at Square 7 Valentine's Day of 2014.
Wow.
And just had a wonderful time, met lots of fantastic people, and they keep asking me to come back.
Exactly.
That means you have a following, and that means you're doing very well, or they wouldn't probably ask you to come back, Kelly.
Very good, very good. So how did music become part of your life?
Well, at a young age, I played piano. I took piano lessons, self-taught on guitar. I started playing in high school, and came to write songs and then eventually perform, actually through a very major loss in my life. I lost my mom in 2010 to cancer. It was very unexpected. When she was diagnosed, she was already stage 4. They gave her 6 months. We were lucky enough to have another year with her. But she was my best friend, and when I lost her, I really didn't know what to do with myself. I wasn't coping well with the loss at all. And reconnected with my guitar, and through playing and then eventually writing, just found a way to really help heal my heart.
Yeah.
You know, we hear so often, Kelly, when we listen to music and we listen to the songs, the words are just what you're talking about. And they reach out to someone else who, in your case, with your mother loss, you know, then they can understand because you have helped them through by writing and talking about such a thing like that. So it's wonderful. And so when you started, you know, you give us a little bit of history, a little bit of background of your age and when you decided to start playing the guitar and everything. When did you really come to the point that you said, I think I've got something here. I think I've got the talent. I'd like to take it a little bit further and maybe start playing for others in public.
I think initially I never even imagined that would happen. It was something that I did quietly, you know, just to myself and amongst my animals. And I actually shared some lyrics of a song. I believe you're going to play a little bit of that, and I can go a little deeper into that. But it was through sharing the lyrics of that song and touching someone with just the words.
See, that's
like
what we're talking about.
That put the thought in my head of maybe this isn't something that I should necessarily keep to myself.
That is so true. Writing is such a personal thing because you are pouring your heart, your thoughts and your emotions on the page, but then when you realize that somebody else connects with those words too, it's such an amazing thing that happens. Two people have this connection through the songs, and it's such a personal thing. It's so beautiful.
And for me, gave meaning to something that for me seemed very meaningless. My mom was only 58, and it just did not seem right that she was no longer with us. And being able to connect with someone and have them take something from my experience, maybe give them a little bit of hope or a little better understanding.
See, that's true.
Was huge for me.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you blossomed at a little bit later age? I mean, was Mom's 58?
Mom's 58. I'm actually 45, so this is definitely a later in life adventure, we shall call it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was not planned,
No.
but this was your solace, this was your way to get through things, and music was so important to you. Had you been writing prior to that along the way all these years?
On and off in my life, I'd written. My trade was actually, I was a horse trainer.
Yeah, well, you said you played for your animals, so we were going to go there next.
I used to stand in the barn and serenade the horses.
How did they respond, Kelly?
They loved the music.
They did.
Yes,
Well, good for them.
They were always a great, very captive audience.
So you were a horse trainer for 20 years. Tell us a little bit about that part of your life.
I grew up around horses, and it just was such a part of my life that it was real natural for me to fall into that when I got out of high school. And had a great career, got to see lots of the United States, met wonderful people. I lived and worked in Canada for 5 years. I just absolutely loved it. But kind of after doing it 20 years, was thinking about maybe I want to make a change, and then life literally just said, yes, you're going to make a change.
Yeah.
It wasn't the way I expected it to happen, but it happened.
But it happened.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking as you were sharing the story about your mom and how now you're able to use that to connect with other people who are doing the same thing. That's God. God allows our circumstances to make us stronger, and then we can use those things. He uses those through us to help other people. It's always, always for the benefit of somebody else. And so I like what you said. Your music is not just for you to keep to yourself. It's for you to share with the world.
And I always believe too, I think my mom, and I'm sure my grandparents that are up there too, had a hand in it. They always wanted to see me doing something where I was growing, and so I have no doubt that there were definitely other forces at work.
Certainly so. And, we were talking earlier about, I admire, that's the word I want to say, I admire people like you who can sing, because I wasn't blessed with that opportunity. My dad wasn't, I wasn't, the rest of my family, yes. So when I hear someone sing, it's so beautiful. To me, it looks like you just open your mouth and these beautiful words.
I'm glad it looks that way.
How do you get to that point? I mean, training and practicing and hard work.
I definitely put a lot of time into practice. I play every day. I find that the more I play, the stronger my voice is, the easier it is for me to do, low range to high range. But I don't have any specific training. So I guess I was just blessed.
Some people are blessed, and some people work very hard at it.
She's looking right at me, Kelly. It didn't do a bit of good.
If you love what you're doing, that's
Exactly.
There you go. Thank you.
Exactly. So how did, since you've been to Lancaster, things have really blossomed and grown for you. Tell us about that journey.
Well, I think the whole downtown scene in Lancaster in general has been growing. I just recently played during the Chocolate Walk, and I had played it last year, and there literally was double the amount of people that came through. So it's been fun for me to see that whole scene growing, more people coming out, supporting what's going on down there, and at the same time, more people are coming to see me. And I remember the first time I played down there, it was mostly a group of my friends and fans that had come down from Columbus to see me.
Sure.
And now, one or two folks still come down from Columbus, but the majority of the people that are here listening are all Lancaster folks. And they're spreading the word, and I'm very grateful for that.
Amen. Amen. So, now, do you play in other venues as well still around?
I do. I recently played Rockside Vineyards.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there.
Lancaster.
Yeah, I'll be there again May 23rd. And they've booked me all the way through December.
Wow.
So that's exciting. And then I am playing a benefit for the Cameo League, Tapas and Talk, May 16th. And that is to benefit the Lancaster Festival. 100% of their proceeds will go to support the Lancaster Festival, which I'm
Speaking of which,
hoping
will you
to get
be
into someday. I'm not in it this year, but fingers crossed for next year.
Maybe
hopefully.
2016.
so. Very
that would
good.
be really awesome. Well, I was wondering, how's that comfort level come about to be able to stand up in front of
I'm laughing
people?
because that's been very challenging for me.
Yeah, I would wonder how that would happen. I mean, how did you get there?
I think I mentioned to you when we were speaking before we came on air that it literally was just one step at a time. I am not kidding you. I was completely terrified at the thought of playing for anybody, even close friends. Like, I would shake, my throat would close up. I mean,
And it's not just the fact that you're singing, but you're singing your songs.
right.
Your
So
heart.
you're kind of bearing your soul
Exactly.
to a degree, which is scary. So I never really imagined that I would be able to do that. And I just, with a lot of support and encouragement, just was willing to face my fears.
Mm-hmm.
Good for
and
you.
keep moving forward, and one thing sort of led to another, and I got more comfortable, and it got a little bit easier. I still get nervous, especially if I'm doing something new. I'm more
Okay.
comfortable. Like Square 7 to me is almost like playing in my
Family.
living room. I'm so comfortable there, and there's a wonderful energy there. It's just a fantastic place. So that is an easy, fun thing for me to do now, playing for the Celebration of Possibilities.
That
With
was a little
200
bit
or more
different.
people.
I think
400
that was like
people.
450 people or something
She
like
counted
that.
every one of
Yes,
them.
I did.
could tell she did.
I even got all their names and everything, just so I could thank them personally. But yeah, that was pretty intimidating.
That was really. Is that the biggest venue that you've ever done then?
That's the largest quiet group that I've ever played for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played the Brickyard stage in Mansfield last year, and I believe there was probably about 700 or 800 people
Whoa.
up there.
But they were all out doing their
Everybody
thing.
was,
It
yeah,
a
having a good
carnival
time.
Festival kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, today we're talking to Kelly Vaughn. She actually has a website where you can go hear her music. Tell us what that is.
That's kellyvaughnmusic.com.
Yep, and we've got a link on our Facebook page. You can go right there. We're going to hear more about Kelly and the music that she writes and all of that good stuff here when we come back on Fairfield County's refreshing 90.9 FM. Welcome back to Community Accent on Fairfield County's refreshing 90.9 FM. We are talking today to Kelly Vaughn. Kathy Laveck is with us this morning. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
And we are going to share with you a clip from one of Kathy's, one of Kelly's.
No, you don't want to hear Kathy's clip. I can assure
We're
you,
gonna
Kelly.
play
You recorded
clip.
yourself at
Yeah,
home.
I did.
From one of Kelly's songs, a song that means a lot to her, and we'll hear more of the backstory on it after this, but listen close.
Like the seasons that's changing me, a deeper meaning that I see. I wanna do more than just survive. Well, I'm gonna feel good to be alive.
That was Kelly Vaughn
Beautiful.
and her
Thank you.
song that she sings.
Oh, my website's playing weight over top of it.
No, nobody heard that, only us.
Oh, yeah, just us. Nobody heard that.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, we are talking today to Kelly Vaughn. That was one of your songs named, what was the name of that song?
The name of that song is called Fall.
And tell us about the backstory with that.
The backstory on that song is when I was going through the grieving process, I got some help from hospice.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with a bereavement counselor, and they were a huge resource for me, a huge help. And in that, going through that grieving process, I started writing music. And in one of my steps in this journey that I've been on, I was brave enough to share the lyrics with my counselor. She was actually one of the first people that I shared my music with. It was safe, and I trusted her. And when I got to the end of my counseling, she was pleased with everything that I had gone through, and I shared those lyrics. She said, I want to have you speak at a seminar, and I would like you to share your story with people. And And at the end of sharing your story, I'd like you to read the lyrics to that song, because when I wrote it, it was basically the beginning, the middle, and getting back to having hope through that whole process.
Yeah.
That's what that song's about.
Yeah, the last line you sang was just, I'm going to feel good to be alive.
Yeah.
And when you are going through that grieving process, sometimes you just don't feel good to be alive when your loved one is gone.
Yeah.
So
my world just turned upside down.
Yeah.
And
so your lyrics
difficult.
are very personal, very touching. They tell stories. What would you say the genre of your music is if you had to label it?
That's always a tough question to ask, but I guess probably the best description would be folk.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think my songs tell a story.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
You know, Kelly, there are people listening today who feel that they're talented and would always have liked to have that opportunity to, to branch out and try something like that, but they're afraid to do so. Mm-hmm. So I think you're encouraging them, and with this conversation today. I know that you said you had been working, and the background was working with the horses and traveling and being in Canada and all of that, but I know you're not involved in that any longer.
Correct.
So are you full-time music now? What are you doing at this point in time?
I do music full-time. I made the decision in June of last year to, I was working at a horse farm still up in Johnstown, and made the decision to stop working with the horses and do music full-time.
That is a big leap of faith.
Yes.
That is. And now you have bookings,
I usually have at least 2 to 3 gigs a week generally.
Now, so what word of encouragement would you give to someone who's out there right now and feel they have the talent and they want to step forward, but they're afraid to do it? What should they do?
I would say just believe in yourself. Don't be afraid. Actually I can't say don't be afraid, because I know you'd be terrified, because I was terrified.
And it's okay to be afraid. You can use that energy. It actually helps in a performance.
Exactly. But you'll live through it.
Yes.
And once you do it, it gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier, and just keep taking those steps. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, I've had a ton of support from friends, the community down here. I definitely could not do this by myself, so just go for it.
Go for it.
What is one of the
Try it.
most favorite things you love about music and writing?
Well, obviously I love just playing in general and being able to sing and do what I do. I feel very fortunate, but it absolutely 100% is the connection with people. Mm-hmm. And that it's very ironic to me to be saying that now, because I did not ever think I would share my music with people. And I lived a little bit of an isolated life with everything I was going through. But it's literally been that human connection and that sharing that has just made it all kind of magical.
So you're something of an introvert, and that's your tendency, but music makes you get out there. And that connection then just feeds something in you to want to do more and more of it.
It does, and it just makes everything I went through seem worthwhile, and it makes me want to see what's life going to bring next, and what can I take away from it.
So, Kelly, are you saying that had not the unfortunate tragedy happened in your life, that your mother passed, maybe this would have never surfaced like
That's
it has?
possible. And I've said that at some of my shows, that it's interesting to me that had that not happened, as much as I would love to have my mom back, had that not happened, I might not be standing up here doing what I'm doing. So things have a way of
It is so interesting how God works through our lives in this way. And yes, something was taken from you. There was a hole, but then God gave you something else to fill that, and it's something beautiful and worthwhile.
Yes,
worthwhile.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, we want to share with people about your website and what they can do there. KellyVaughnMusic.com is where they can go. They can hear some of your songs. What other kind of songs do you have?
Well, I have the song that I wrote that I played at the celebration. 2 songs that I played at the celebration. One's called Oak, which is one a lot of people really like. It's a story of just not giving up and staying strong like the tree. And then I have my song Extraordinary, and that was a wonderful
That was a great song,
moment.
by the way.
That was a great moment. I wrote it specifically at the request of the same person that got me the gig at Square 7. She said, you need to write a song, celebrate people with disabilities. And so I did. And it was so wonderful to me to see that song literally come to life. The TNT dance team was up there with me. Believe about half of the team members that were there had disabilities themselves. And the song basically just, talks about how we're all the same and celebrating somebody's life. And the kids were up there and they were just doing the things that everybody else does.
Now, is that the first time that you wrote that specifically for this celebration dinner?
I wrote it a while back.
Okay.
But John Picard, who is superintendent with Fairfield DD, he had the vision. He said, I see you singing that song and people dancing around, and it literally came to life, and it was a really, really special moment.
How long does it take you to write a song?
It varies.
It varies. But varies. Have you had any that miraculously in 15 minutes you wrote down, or 6 days?
I do. Actually, the title track to my CD, Ordinary Girl, I call that my song that fell out of the sky because it literally it kind of wrote it itself.
Yeah.
I just had this little riff that I was playing with. And opened my mouth, and the words just flowed.
Came out. Well, you do have a CD out called Ordinary Girl, and you have about 5 songs on there. Those are called EP? EP, yeah.
EP, correct.
And so Ordinary Girl, Fall, the part of the song that we just heard, Pour Out My Heart, Oak, and The Passage, which is just an instrumental.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you grew up and you learned how to play the piano. Now, did you take lessons for a long time?
About 3 years for piano. So I can read music, and I have a little bit of a music background that way.
Exactly. But they can get a hold of this CD where at?
They can either get it on my website under the store, or they're $8, or you can see me at one of my shows.
Very good.
Which
I
is
was
even better
wondering
because
if they
then I
might
get
have
to
them at Art and Clay or somewhere.
Yeah,
local.
they do have them available at Art and Clay. But the best thing for me is if you come to one of my shows and I get to meet you personally and talk a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you for coming today. We want to ask you again where your next shows are going to be coming up.
I will be at Art and Clay in Square 7 tomorrow night, 7 to 10. And then I'm actually back there again on May 1st, so the following Friday.
Very good. A couple Fridays in a row here. You can go and see Kelly. Now, what are your plans for the future, Kelly?
Well, I hope to keep writing. I am working on a new CD. I don't have a release date or anything yet. We'll see, but I'm hoping to get a new CD out. I want to continue writing, and I would love to just expand maybe regionally.
So you're available for people's, just like the Celebration of Possibilities, if people are having events or different things where they want some music, you're available for that?
I've done weddings, engagement parties, private parties, pretty much anything. If you want music, I'm open.
There you go. And you can go to the website and find out what her sound is like and get a good idea of what you'll be getting when you hire Kelly to come to your event. Thank you so much, Kelly Vaughn.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you both.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Miss Kathy Laveck about the Visitors and Convention Bureau and some events that are going on in Fairfield County when we come back on Community Accent, refreshing 90.9 FM.